What's up, Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network. We're your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony. Today is Friday, October 24th. Magic undefeated in this brand new season as they take on the Miami Heat officially. We already played them a couple times in the preseason, officially playing them at home, opening up the Kia Center. And it was a very, very fun game to watch and hell of a way to start off the Orlando Magic season. Al, what's up, man? How are you feeling? You were actually at the game. So I already know that your perspective was pretty crazy to be there in person.
Well, I'll just say this, man. I'm thankful that we're recording this 24 hours later because when I got home last night, I had no voice, and this morning I sounded rough in my work calls. But I'm good now, thankfully. Man, it was a blast. It was a blast to have Magic basketball back, to see the community at the game. We got together at halftime with a bunch of the Twitter Magic family there, and that was fun to see a bunch of those guys. But man, it's like a big party. It's like, hey, we're all finally getting back together after a summer off. We're all catching up, seeing each other. That was a blast. And man, the Magic looked, I would say, better than expected. I think opening night, you always worry. Are we going to show up? Are the nerves going to get in the way? But we look great, man.
Yeah, it was not a perfect game by any means, but definitely a lot of really good takeaways, areas that we definitely need to work on. But man, a lot of excitement. In today's episode, where we're going to talk about some of the things that stood out to us in that game. Jalen Suggs returning, man, breath of fresh air to see him out there. You got Desmond Bane debut, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Tyus Jones and if we should be worried. But before we get into that, remember to follow us on our social media accounts at Orlando Magic HQ on Instagram and at O Magic HQ on X, so you can stay up to date with all the latest Orlando Magic news, rumors, and updates. Also, we would really appreciate it if you like this view and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you like the show, man, leave us a 5-star review, rating on whatever podcast listening platform you are listening to us on. It goes a long way. It helps us continue to grow our audience and reach even more Magic's fans with the content that we love creating. Now, with that being said, yes, Magic defeat the Miami Heat 125-121 on opening night. I want to hear from you. Talk to me about the atmosphere. I did hear a little Miami Heat chants every now and then when I was watching from home. So hopefully there wasn't too much Miami presence in there. And then obviously, man, tell me a little bit about what you felt about the new PA announcer that started officially the gig yesterday.
Yeah, man. So electric opening night at the Kia Center. I think we all expected that. A little upsetting that when they were doing the player intros at the beginning, the whole crowd wasn't quite there yet. Upper level was not quite full. So although there were some big pops, right? Like when Jalen got announced, when Mo Wagner came out, my
Mo
goodness, I did not
Wagner.
expect
Yeah.
Mo to get
Huge
that
pop.
much love. That was amazing. And of course, Paulo and France got probably the biggest pops, reaction from the crowd the whole night. But it was amazing, man, especially the fourth quarter. Once the crowd settled in, we got into the game. It truly felt like a playoff game. The atmosphere was crazy. To your point, there were a few, I would say 90-10 Magic versus Heat fans, which usually is more like 60-40 in some games. So Magic fans showed up. They represented well. Whenever the Heat fans tried to get their "Let's go Heat" chants, Magic fans got in and started booing and shut them up pretty quickly. But it was fun, man. It's always fun to play the Heat at home, big rivalry. Again, electric crowd. I'm loving again the atmosphere. You talk about the new PA guy. Big debate last week. Was it going to be the first guy or the second guy that got the gig? I was vocal about it on X day one. I'm like, I think the first guy might have been a bit too much, in my opinion. But the second guy was super quiet, kind of too pro, too mellow. Not what we need on a team that's trying to make some noise in the East this year. So I'm glad they made the choice they did. He did a great job last night, man. He kept the crowd going. I love his 3-point shot call when we make a 3-pointer. He gets into it, man, and I think he's only getting started. So he's no Paul Porter, right? He's not gonna be. We know that, but I think they made the right choice with the two finalists that we knew about. We don't know who else applied, who else was involved in the final considerations. But it was a blast, man. It's great to have Magic basketball back. I think this will be a fun season. Just keep remembering, man, if you go to these games, represent the team well, support the crowd. and this team because we're going to be fun this year to watch. So let's keep it going. Let's not just do this on opening night.
Yeah, man. The you can tell from home watching that it definitely felt way more energetic than your standard regular season game. Obviously, it's the opener, so it was a big deal, and you're obviously also playing against the Miami Heat, so there's always some fun tension. For me, man, I'll be honest with you. Uh, we talk about my kids all the time. So if you don't know, I'm a father of two. I got a 5 year old and my son who's turning 3 here shortly in December. And this was the first time because they know the Orlando Magic chants and the songs. Obviously, I sing it loud and proud, and they know the words. But this was like the first time like both of them were sitting down watching the game with me. And my son, he's all about Spider Man. He likes basketball because I forced him to like basketball, right? But he doesn't do it on his own just yet. But it was the first time that I had my daughter on my left knee, my son on my right knee, and they were intently watching the game with me, chanting every time the white team scored, booing every time Miami Heat scored. So to me it was so much fun from that perspective. And also the fact that we finished the first game with a win was massive. And I think a lot of that excitement was just seeing Jalen Suggs on the floor. I mentioned this to you and the guys on Patreon yesterday that Suggs being on the floor, like his flow is just so much different. And there's always like this level of scare for me, right? Where Jalen Suggs was injured a lot last season. The season before, he obviously had his breakout year. There's a small voice in my head that's asking, like, what Jalen Suggs are we getting? Is he still going to be able to be the same player with the injury? Is the good Jalen Suggs that we got in year three, was that a fluke? Was that a one time thing? Like, can we get consistency from that? Like, really realistically, and seeing him ball out the way that he did was uh man, it gave me goosebumps. It made me feel really optimistic, even more so for the season, and seeing him play with the energy. Like, this dude was getting uh charges, he was getting steals, fast breaks, his shot was on point, he was getting really good looks. Like, you looked at Jalen Suggs and he only scored 14 points, but his impact felt like it was way more than that. So him being able to shoot, 6 of 7, like it's beautiful to watch him and Desmond Bane out there. So uh talking about Suggs, him going through that knee injury, being out for as long as he has, how did it make you feel seeing him, finally come back and be able to play at the level and the energy that he was playing on?
Man, what a night for Jalen Suggs. You could tell that he was so excited. Like during the intros, you could tell he was a little emotional about being out there and making his debut, on opening night, not playing in preseason, which, by the way, a surprise to me. I think as a Magic fan, I'm so used to them being, so careful with these players, and we want to see them, gradually get back. No, no, no. They threw him out there, starting lineup, opening night. You're playing. Now, it's funny to see how he started the game, right? He fouled, I think it was Norman
Quick.
Powell twice on 3 point
Mhm.
attempts within like a minute. And you're like, come on, Jaden, like you just got back. Like, come on, we need you out there.
It's energy. It's energy. He was excited.
100%. And then the way he turned it around, man, like he ended the game, like you mentioned, 6 for 7, 2 for 3 from 3 point range, 14 points. But most importantly, plus 15 on the night. He led the team in plus minus in just 17 minutes. So talk about that impact that he had on the court. And I can tell you, man, those steals that he came up with, I think it was the third or fourth quarter. He just cleanly stole the ball, laid it in. Just those big plays, it completely changes the outcome of the game. Like he was kind of going on a bit of a run. Suck comes in, takes a charge, gets a steal. The whole crowd goes crazy. It changes dynamic, the arena, everything in a matter of seconds. So it was great to see him last night. I truly did not expect to see him last night. Before, of course, it was announced that he was going to play. My thought was they're going to hold him back, maybe at a couple of more days. Maybe in the weekend we see him, but I was not expecting him last night. So that was a big surprise. But glad to see him out there, man. The crowd, as we all know, love Jalen Suggs. That fourth quarter, his big baskets, big stops, pumping up the crowd. We're back. Again, officially, not only are we back in the sense of like we have a great team, we're going to have a great season, but with Jalen out there, man, pumping up the crowd, it brought back memories of that series against the Cavaliers. when he kept doing that throughout, and the arena feeds off of that. Just imagine that's just Jalen Suggs. Imagine now when we add Mo Wagner to that craziness as well. It's gonna be fun. But Jalen, man, super happy for him. I cannot wait to see him play 25, 30 minutes. It may be a while, but the fact that he's just out there right now playing limited minutes, that's enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen brings he brings like this level of swagger that it is it's beautiful to watch. You mentioned him trying to pump up the crowd. Big play at the end. He's just kind of raising his hands up and down, trying to get the fan base involved, and the crowd feeds off of their energy, and the team feeds off of the crowd's energy, and it makes you feel like even when the Magic were down. In the fourth, like there wasn't a moment where you felt like we're gonna let this slip. And I think that one of the things I loved is that we were hearing that Coach Mose was talking to the team and letting them know like we're prepared for this. We practice this. This is we do the 2-minute drills. We know what to do in this situation. Now it's time to put it into action. And being able to see the pace that they were playing in, the intensity that they were playing with, was great. We're going to talk a little bit about Wendell in a little bit, but I think from an overall perspective, you have to be really proud of what Jalen brought in. The only starter to play under 20 minutes, so obviously that was expected. With this being his first game, I was also surprised that he was ready to go for game one because yes, you're absolutely right. The Magic love to kind of ease people in, and the preseason would have been a perfect opportunity to do that. That's not what happened. Jalen Suggs was your starter. He played more than 15 minutes, and he closed out for the Magic. So it was awesome. And you take a look at the minutes for the starters: Paulo 35, Franz 36, Wendell 30, Desmond Bane 33. So a lot of minutes for our starters. But you got to be really excited from what you saw. A lot of areas where we can improve, but you got to be really excited with the different things that we're seeing early on. And we got a really good chance to see a real Desmond Bane game. This was a guy that really struggled during the preseason. I've seen the chatter. I felt the chatter myself. Like, is this another KC? Not really saying that asking if this is really a KCP um, situation, but KCP obviously gave us a little PTSD because what we got was not the player that we were expecting, right? Desmond Bain struggling during preseason really came out and showed out that he is who he is. He is as advertised. First game of the Magic, 23 points, shot 7 of 18, 3 for 7 from 3-point line, 6 for 6 from free throw, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. He was active defensively. How comfortable do you think Desmond now looks integrated with the Magic? I mean, how comfortable do you see him fitting alongside Paulo, Franz, and also Jalen?
Man, if I just go based on that game one, he's fitting like a glove, man. Like he is exactly what we needed. He's a guy that you don't need to have the ball in his hands in order for him to be productive, right? He's either cutting to the basket. If he gets the ball quickly, he can just attack to the rim without the defense kind of expecting it. Oh, but wait, he's a great shooter, so now you can't really close out too much. He is again a guard that I'm not used to us having in our roster. Like I was talking to a few people yesterday at halftime. I'm like, when was the last time you really remember the Magic having a shooting guard of this quality? And again, we talked about Oladipo, we talked about Vince, but Vince was older. Oladipo couldn't quite shoot just yet when he was here with the Magic. Vince was too old. I, I went back to T Mac, and I'm like, that's the only one that I can remember that was a guard that you had to respect that could drop 20 easily. And you had to respect not only his drive to the hoop, but also shooting the ball. So, man, that's been 21 years that we haven't had a shooting guard on an opening night that we had to just like the defense had to respect and we could expect big things out of. But night one, man, I loved it. I kept saying in preseason to people, like, I think that the Magic are kind of holding him back. They're having him go out there, look at the place, look at what it feels like, but don't be aggressive. I don't think they want to show kind of their hands yet as to how they're going to use Desmond Bain. Night one, we saw just that because he came in and he was firing early on. He took a few threes, made a couple, went to the basket and won. Like he was involved, aggressive. And surprisingly enough, he took more shots than Paulo and Franz on game one, which I'm like, okay. I like the confidence. I like the fact that you're saying, hey, I'm here to help, and I am an offensive tool that we're gonna use in this team. Because don't forget, he kept saying that mostly kept telling him, like, we want you to shoot. When you're open, shoot the ball. Like, don't be afraid. He showed it night one. He's not gonna pass up shots when he's wide open. So it was great to see, man. Defensively, he held his own. He's a good defender. Um, but I like the fact that he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands in order to create and get his points. He's gonna find a way to be productive while Paulo and Franz kind of handle the ball duties the most. Game one was way better than expected. I hope we see many more where Paulo, Franz, and Bain are shooting kind of same amount of shots, but also ending above 20 points each. We talked about it last week, where we expected him, Franz, and Paulo to average 20. We were like, I think we'll see Bain kind of drop off a little bit. After game one, it's looking like it might be closer than we think.
So even from the beginning, if you listen to like the interviews that he said early on, like I'm coming in and I'm gonna be me. I'm not changing myself. Like I know what I bring, I know what I do. And obviously he's saying this in a way more positive way than I'm sure that I reiterated, but and it's exactly what he did. And you think about the amount of like pressure he's alleviating from Franz and from Paulo, just from a scoring perspective, a handling the basketball perspective. Like this is stuff that you need when we talk about fit. You talk about opening it up for Franz and Paulo. Paulo had a terrible game, or at least it felt like a terrible game, and Paulo still went off for 24 points and 11 rebounds. And this was a bad game. Like, what does a good game from Paulo really look like? But man, Desmond was awesome. You saw there was moments on the floor where I saw him kind of bring everyone together. And that's just a leadership side of him, which I think is great. In one of the press conferences, and I really thought that it was interesting. And some of the Grizzlies fan base, it really didn't like his comments. He got a lot of uh pushback for what he said, but he was talking about how, it's the first time in his career where when he's doing a pick and roll, and the person that he's doing a pick and roll with is the first time that it's like he isn't the one that's feared. Like the person that's being doing the pick and roll is the one that's being feared more so than him. And you think about, Franz and Paulo and Wendell. I was reading comments from the Miami fan base, and they were saying, man, like the Magic got 3 6'10" monsters out there, and we're over here putting uh Jaquez in the fourth in the fourth spot. Like what are we doing here? And this is the type of matchup problems that is really going to be for a lot of the teams. The Magic are really big, and on top of that, you got two dogs and Desmond Bane and Jalen Suggs. Like it's not going to be a walk in the park when it comes to the Magic. What's going to be really fun to see is, obviously you take advantage of Miami Heat that didn't have a Tyler Hero, so they aren't fully healthy. It's going to be fun to see the Magic how they really rank up and play and raise their level of game against the more aggressive and more talented teams like the OKC Thunder, like the Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors. Like it's going to be fun to be able to see those type of matchups.
Yeah, we don't have to wait long, actually. We have a good game here tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. They're expected to be a good team this year. So I wonder how they look against them. And they lost big time on opening night against the Raptors. So they're going to come in hungry, trying to win a game against the Magic. So I'm excited for tonight's game. But going back to Bain for a second, man, I think, again, it's looking like a really solid pickup for the Magic. I think the way that he is incorporating himself in the offense, helping on defense, but the leadership as well. The way I kept thinking about it was, had we signed him last year, to a max contract instead of KCP and what we ended up doing that summer, what would our reaction been? Because when we got KCP, we were like, okay, good shooter, good vet, but we were disappointed. We wanted more with max money available to us. So I
That
ask you
was
that
that was
question.
more that was more you. You were never
Eh,
impressed with that KCP signing from the
no.
beginning.
I just never liked him as a player. Good guy, but I never liked him as a player. So I'm like, I have to root for him now. It is what it is. I'm glad it didn't work out because it panned out. But I ask you
You
this question. Yeah,
I remember you seeing the shooting percentage and you were excited about the shooting percentage, but the minute that you saw the shooting attempts, the 3-point attempts, you're
yeah,
like, "What? That's it?
no, yeah.
What are we doing?"
We needed a sniper. He wasn't that guy. But I ask you this. So if instead of KCP last year, we would have signed Desmond Bane to a large contract like what he has right now, would you have been extremely excited, forgotten about the whole Paul George possibility, Clay Thompson, and being like, man, this is the guy? Or was he not the star that you would have wanted the Magic to pursue at that time? I'll give you my answer, but what would have been your reaction in that moment?
I think that in that offseason, there was just a lot of hype. And this was like the first time that the Magic were really connected to high caliber players. And I think you get lost and caught up in the big names. Like we were talking Paul George, we were talking about Klay Thompson. The fact that Paul George and the Orlando Magic, there was some level of communication before a decision was made was a huge deal. When was the last time that we were heavy hitters in free agency where other teams had to fear that there might have been a potential connection with Paul George and the Magic. So I think from that perspective, you wanted that. The Magic were so bad in shooting that you just wanted somebody that was a high level offensive player that's really marketed as one. And Desmond Bane, obviously, he's a top shooting guard in the NBA, crazy 3-point percentage. But your mind automatically goes for the Paul George and the Klay Thompson, and this is why you have to be impressed with what the Magic front office have done in their research. Like if you're telling me that Desmond Bane was their choice because of just pure watching basketball, I would think you're crazy. Like the Magic invests a lot of money into analytics, and analytics was showing. Obviously, I don't have this confirmed anywhere. It's not like I have sources telling me this, but I'm sure that when they're looking at Desmond Bane and looking at the Magic, everything looked right from match to fit to analytics to AI, whatever is being utilized, like everything was checking off. And it's Magic got to be very fortunate as a fan base. We have to be very fortunate that the Magic are in a position that they're in because what is Paul George doing right now? What did he do last season? Clay Thompson is not the Clay Thompson that he isn't the Clay Thompson now that we were hoping and expecting for. So Desmond Bane, right age, right time, right system, right group of guys. And you can tell that he's really excited.
Yeah, man. To answer that question, I would just tell you, man, he is exactly what we needed from a shooting guard. A sniper from 3 point range, not afraid to shoot him. Age fits what we're trying to do. Experience has playoff experience, plenty of it with the Grizzlies. Again, to your point, the front office, I think they nailed it with this move. Again, hopefully it'll continue. Hopefully the health side is in our side this year. He'll be healthy to help us achieve what we want to achieve this season. But man, it's looking good one game into it. By next week, we'll have a few more games down that we can actually analyze and see how things are fitting. But after one game, he's looking incredible.
Yeah, and then another player that I wanted to point out before we start talking about our bench unit is Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell had a really, really crazy preseason. Looked in top shape, top form. Was aggressive. Was playing bigger than what he was. And I felt this game he was kind of hidden in the back a little bit. He wasn't as aggressive. Nothing was really going his way until about the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, he definitely showed up and came more alive. He started doing things that really, really put the Magic in a position to be able to win. Ended the game with 9 points, 8 rebounds, assists, a steal, and a block in 30 minutes. And led the team with 5 offensive rebounds. He had really great key plays again late in the game to help the Magic get this win. And I want to be able to see that because I feel like there's times where Wendell kind of gets in his head a little bit, and it just the play doesn't get better, right? Um, Obviously, this team they're high on Wendell Carter Jr. We've heard Desmond Bane being a player that is super high on Wendell and calls him as one of the players that they're going to lean on the most because he's able to do so many different things. He is able to kind of elevate from his 6'10" body and play bigger. There was a moment that he grabbed offensive rebound over 3 guys and was able to put it back up. And like he went out and he flexed and he showed his muscle and obviously Bam didn't like that, but it's what you want. It's what's needed. We don't need a center to go out there and drop 20 and 15. It'd be nice if he did, but we don't need that. We have offensive power for the first time in a good minute. So not saying that 9-8 is acceptable. We want more for Wendell Carter. But the fact that he struggled a majority of the game and still found ways to help this team win. That's really what we need from that 5 spot. And Wendell was able to figure out super late in the game. I'm glad that he was able to do that because I was worried first, second, and third quarter.
Yeah, not only you. I kept saying it. My wife actually, she watches games. She goes to the games with me. She kept saying like, "Oh, here goes Wendell again. That preseason was a fluke." Like even she is up to speed on what happens with Wendell. um, but it's true, man. Like unfortunately, first three quarters he wasn't looking like himself. And to your point, he gets in his head sometimes. He lets a bad play, a bad turnover, whatever it might be, get in his head, and then that affects him the rest of the way. Super proud of Wendell last night. He didn't let their slow start impact his the way that he ended the game. Honestly, he won us a game last night. Those two huge offensive rebounds and then putting them back up, one of them being an N1, hitting some clutch free throws when it mattered
Free
most.
throws,
Huge.
huge.
So again, I know we had some great performances, but in my opinion, who won us the game in that final few minutes in the fourth was Wendell Carter. So it was great to see that, even though he didn't have a good night, he found a way to contribute when it matters most. But I'm gonna give you another guy that should get some love at the center position also, and that is Goga, man. Only played 19 minutes, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. So when you think about our centers last night against Miami, who has some good bigs, they play good defense inside. Our bigs ended up with 17 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists in that game again as a unit. Wendell and Goga. Super proud of that. I think that if you would have told me that before the game, I would have been like, against Bomb, against the team that they have. I don't know. They found a way again to contribute and help out on a night that we needed it. So again, Wendell, big props to him. I hope that we don't need much more than this. We need Wendell to average 12 to 14 a night, grab 8 to 10 rebounds a night. If that's what he can give us on a nightly basis, we're doing amazing. So close enough, but we need more from him from tip off all the way to the fourth quarter, not just in stages.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I love what we've always loved what Goga brings. We've had the debates last season. Is it Goga? Is it Wendell? Who should be the one that starts? They're two completely different centers, and they bring different elements. And I think that that gives so much flexibility for Coach Mo to be able to put in different scenarios. And he's not Goga is not a scrub. He's not perfect, but he goes in. He's a big body. He can pick up the trash rebounds. He's savvy enough to where he can score when he needs to. He attempted some 3-point shots that I'm hoping carries over from Eurobasket because he was able to hit them. He was averaging about 3 shot attempts per game in Eurobasket, and he attempted in the Magic game. So you're hoping that some of those things will hit. So yeah, definitely proud of Goga and what our center positions, our center guys have done. And then someone that I will also include in there since we're talking about the second unit now is Tristan da Silva. If Tristan da Silva plays like this, we are never going to see Jay Howard on the floor. And we had this debate. Is it Tristan? Is it Jet? Right? Tristan da Silva, he looks poised. He looks calm. When he's out there, he's somebody that makes the right reads, makes the right decisions. When our second unit was sucking, he was the only bright spot that was doing something for us to impact the game positively because there were moments where it was rough. I finished the game with 16 points, 5 for 8 from the field goal, 3 for 5 from 3-point, 3 for 4 free throw, 18 minutes off the bench. Like this is what you want from Tristan Bronze Wagner. Like this is exactly who you thought you were getting. He's a 24-year-old, 4-year collegiate person that you're adding to your team that you're expecting for them to be able to carry themselves as a vet, even though it's in their second year. So I really love what I saw from Tristan da Silva. Jonathan Isaac is who I really want to talk to you about. JI, 7 minutes, 0 points, 1 rebound. Are we concerned? Is there what are we thinking about Jonathan Isaac at this point?
Interesting. First night for him, of course. Just Chai, right? 'Cause he ended his last preseason game playing fairly well. He looked really well. He moved really well. We were like, hey, Ji might be back, man. Last night, not sure what happened. I'm gonna blame it on matchup. Now that I'm looking at who the Heat played off the bench, they kind of went small off the bench. Um, so I think that affected the ability to you for you to play JI last night. I think we'll see more of him. I don't know what the issue was yesterday, but 7 minutes a night, that cannot be what you have in store for JI this season. I think there's more there. But of course, I don't like seeing no points, one rebound. Like that's not enough. Even if it's only 7 minutes, you got to do a little more than that for us. But I think he'll be fine. I'll blame it on matchup for game one. I think we'll see more of him, and he'll contribute some more in the upcoming games here. But very odd. I think people on Twitter were asking it too, like, "Wait, what happened? Why did he only get 7 minutes?" Seemed like he was part of the rotation quite a bit in preseason, so it was a little bit shocking to see how limited he was on game one. But again, I think he'll be fine. I think we'll see him more against the Hawks, against the Bulls here coming up. I think it's a fluke because of the matchups that we faced off the bench last night.
Yeah, I gotta see another game, because it doesn't look right on paper, didn't look right on screen. I gotta see one more game in Atlanta to really, get a gist of where we're at with JI. The big thing with JI is obviously last season he gained the weight. This season he lost the weight, so he's back to being, a smaller frame. But JI gets paid way too much, and this team, it relies on his added contributions. It's just what it is. Like this is supposed to be somebody that you're expecting to be a all NBA, all NBA defense type of player. Like even if he doesn't get the award, you expect him to be that type of player. And there's always moments where you see him altering shots that may not show up on the stat sheet, but yeah, you just got to get more from Jonathan Isaac. It's just what it is. Because if not, then we need to take that money and we need to pay back Mo Wagner, because we know that when Mo Wagner's out there, doesn't matter if you agree, disagree, you feel the impacts, and you just want that from Jonathan Isaac. So I'm gonna hold my full thoughts on Jonathan Isaac to have a way bigger in season sample size. But some the 7 minutes can't happen. Like we're struggling to get a 15-minute from Jonathan Isaac last year. Now we're dropping to 7 minutes in game one. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. Maybe it was matchup. But we need to see how that looks like with the game against Atlanta. So then that pushes us to Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones had a not so favorable game. Really, really struggled for the Magic. 24 minutes, he was 0 for 4 from the field goal, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line, and was negative 17. Not all fully his fault. I will like to mention and highlight that Franz Wagner threw an alley oop to Tyus Jones. What was that? let's ne- let's never do that again, right? When I saw that happen, I had a double. Did Franz just throw that? Was that? I was confused for a second. I was confused. Like 6'10", throwing an alley oop to barely 6 foot 6'1". So, are you concerned about Tyus Jones?
Nah, it's similar thing to GI, right? It's a one game thing now where you might kind of get a little concerned is preseason he also didn't look pretty good. So preseason he kind of bit wasn't favorable to him. Game one wasn't favorable to him. Should we be concerned? Nah. He's a point guard, getting used to a new system, getting used to a new coaching staff, getting used to new teammates. It's gonna happen. I think he's fine. People are already saying, "Hey, Jace should be the one getting those minutes." I'm like, "Come on, guys! Like, it's one game, right?" He was brought in to be a veteran point guard that organizes the offense and that again helps you score when you need it. Last night wasn't the night. Similar to Jai, give me a couple more games. Let me see what he looks like next week. After 5 games have been played, 6 games. Let's see how he's looking. But so far, I think again he's just got too much going on. Getting to know this new offense, the new system, the new team. It's a lot at the moment. But yes, game one, he did not look good out there. Defensively, we always said it. People always wanted Tyus Jones. So the trade deadline, the offseason, people always wanted him. We kept on saying the thing is that he's not a Jeff Weltman guy in the sense that he's a great point guard, great shooter, but he cannot defend at all. And we're seeing that right now. People are just going right by him every single time. So that's kind of hard to watch because we've been so spoiled being a good defensive team and being, a team that holds up with anybody on the court. Tyus can't quite do that just yet. But I think he's
Yeah,
fine,
but
man. I
we
think he needs more games.
we expected that from Tyus Jones. Like
Hmm.
we talked about it. It was said in the offseason that the Magic were looking to sacrifice defense for offense. You asked for this. You literally asked for
True.
this. This is what you get. Obviously, sometimes the ball doesn't go in the hoop, right? So you just got to keep shooting. This is a game that offensively it wasn't there, but you sacrifice defense. There's no getting that back, right? You're more than likely to get a defensive player that is more consistent defensively than the offensive player, unless you're one of the elite. So it happens. They're gonna have these type of games. So I'm not worried about Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is still an elite level point guard. He's your vet. He's somebody that barely makes errors. We're gonna call this a one off until we get again a bigger sample size. I'm not worried about Tyus Jones. If you're worried about Tyus Jones and you're saying that Tyus Jones needs to go on the bench and we need to see Jace, that's just a very very um, uh, first
Reaction.
first game overreaction. Thousand
Yep.
percent, 1,000%.
I'll tell you what I'm most upset about Tyus Jones is the two turnovers. I'm like, wait, I thought this was one of the best or the best guy in the NBA, limiting turnovers.
That's
I'm like, you're not
that's one.
scoring. I'm okay
Yeah,
with
I
that.
get it.
But two turnovers,
I
I'm being
I get
picky
it. The
now.
that's the part that is surprising. But you're listen. First game in the Kia Center. The Kia Center is where you're supposed to protect home at all costs. Like when teams come to Orlando, even more so. Like it should be even harder for these teams. Like this is the only way that you're really going to drown out all the noises from the other chants and other fans that we hear in the arena. The most important thing is that we left with a dub, and you can't say that for a lot of the other teams in the NBA. Magic are undefeated. I'll take that as a massive W. On to the next one. Magic will face against Atlanta Hawks on Friday, Saturday against Chicago, Monday against Philadelphia, Wednesday against Detroit, and then Thursday against Charlotte. When you take a look at these next 5 games, what would you say is your prediction as we roll into this new week of Orlando Magic basketball?
My goodness, we got a ton of games. So we're going to play what, 6 games in a matter of a week and a day? Sheesh. Okay. So Hawks, I think you got to win that one on Friday night at home again. To me, it's like you got to continue the strong start against the Heat. So I think we win against Atlanta, Chicago as well, Philly, Detroit, Charlotte. I like us going 2-1. I think we lose one of those games. So I got us going. What is that? 4-1 in the next 5 games. Think that's where I got us. I think they're Detroit and Philly might give us some trouble, especially if Philly is with George and Embiid's looking a little. He looked rough in opening night, but if Embiid is playing a little better by then, they're looking good, man. Their rookie's amazing. They have a good talented team in Philly, so when they're healthy, they can give us some trouble. But outside of that, I think we lose one of those two, Philly or Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going with the homer pick. Overreaction. I like what I saw. I don't. I Atlanta. You got to protect home. I see that. So for me, I'm looking at Atlanta. I'm looking at Philly, and I'm looking at Detroit. These are 3 teams that are expected to make some level of noise. Right? Atlanta's a big one. They've had a lot of pieces where they've upgraded their roster. They got Porzingis. They got a couple other guys that are heavy shooters that we were looking at that we wanted ourselves. Philadelphia is going to be Philadelphia. Uh, Maxi is a player that you always have to keep an eye on because he's dangerous. Joel Embiid, former MVP. And then Detroit is a team that they're saying some people, some writers out there say that they may have a better younger roster than the Orlando Magic. This was obviously before the Desmond Bane trade, but the fact that they said it is still mad disrespectful. So the Magic need to go out there and just kind of show people that this is not what it is. So the biggest thing for me is that I want the Magic to go out there and not play to the level of their competition. Right, Magic beat the Miami Heat 125 to 121. I want to see dominant wins. Like I really, I want to see the Magic stomp on some teams. and not just stomp. We need to. What I want to see is a Magic scoring way above 100 and keeping teams under 100. Like I want to see defense be at a top 3 defense with the Magic growing on the offensive end. And I think that should really be the goal. But yeah, man, I'm gonna be a homer. I can't see, like, on paper the Magic has a really good shot at starting this off 6-0.
Man, I hope you're right. I mean, I had us losing one, but I'll take you. If you can go undefeated first six, I think you take that in and you run with it.
I mean,
Not
wait,
a
but
fan
but
of.
don't run away from it. You said Magic are gonna lose one. Who's the one that the Magic are gonna lose?
I'm between Detroit or Philly. I think one of those two games. We come up short. We don't lose by like 20. Nothing crazy. I think we just come up short in one of those games. I hope we beat Detroit. I think that's the one game I really want to win out of the next six. Atlanta too. It's okay if we lose in Philly. Whatever is going to happen, we're going to lose some games here and there. But I think one of those two, Philly or Detroit, is the one that we lose. But I hope that you're right this week and we go undefeated because that would be amazing to start the season 6-0.
Magic basketball is back. I'm not sure if you heard because you were uh, in arena, but they came back with the AO, the producer, Orlando
Yes, sir.
Magic remix, which was very refreshing to see, and I'm excited about it because it just sounds hype, man. It's what went viral. You got to go with what works. But excited that Magic basketball is back. Magic have an opportunity to make some noise. We need to do that early. Every single game counts. Every single one. So it's gonna be a fun ride. Glad that we got the first one under the belt. It is a wrap. Excited for Friday's game against Atlanta, and we'll see what happens from there. Appreciate everyone for listening. Catch you on the next one.